Okay, let's talk about second parent adoption part 2. Now, if you follow along on my channels and all my stuff, you're not surprised that I'm talking about that this week. We've had a really odd week with it. There's a lot of really awful, disheartening shit going on. And I don't need to recap that. I mean, I will just to kind of catch you up to speed, but there's a few other things I want to talk about. And some of those things include why voting matters. Some of those things include like thoughts, prayers, and people's responses. And then the big one includes utilization of resources. So let's catch up to speed real fast. I got a phone call earlier this week saying that I am required to have a home visit to be observed parenting my own fucking child. Okay, yeah, sure. You can come into my house in the middle of a pandemic, which isn't over, by the way, to meet my 1-year-old. So you can sign off on whatever paperwork you need to legitimize me as her mom. Cool. Great. By the way, she's not going to give you too much information past like talking about Moana or showing you her new dog and barking at you going, woof, that's all you're going to get from her. But if you need to observe us together, no problem. Would have been nice if our lawyer told us about it also. She's amazing. Anyway, let's start small and then go big. Okay, let's start small, go big. So the first little fun thing going on here is hearing people say things like, well, you know, we're making governmental changes and things are going in the right direction. And, you know, hey, Trump's out of office. That's a really good thing. Sure. Now, again, if you follow along on here, my political standing is no surprise to you. I am a very liberal person. I do well enough in business that like I respond okay to a, you know, fiscally type of moderate person. That being said, the greater good mentality, take my money and feed the poor, eat the rich. That's where I stand. Talking about the small governmental changes that are being made or that we're in a better position because now we don't have some like fascist lunatic in office is not helpful. It's just not. Saying things like, well, you know, gay marriage wasn't legal a long time ago, or, you know, interracial marriage wasn't legal. It doesn't make it right. It doesn't make it right. Like, yeah, I understand we can argue all day, like, well, it's generational and things change and things progress and we're becoming a more open and accepting society. Do you know how fucked it is that we just weren't always? That's the problem. And I feel like people aren't understanding that. Our problem, when I say our, I mean my wife and I, who have been very vocal about this. Our problem is not that we're worried about a home visit or, you know, we're worried about the court proceedings. We're fine. I know my daughter's my daughter. I don't question that. It's that these laws even exist. We're not looking for reform. We're not looking for some new version of second parent adoption. We're looking for full abolition. Get rid of it. It is ridiculous. It is, it's bigoted. It's hateful. It's rooted in all things that people claim are changing. And that's bullshit. Because this is such a small, tiny little issue that people are unaware of. They feel like, well, this is such an easy thing to change because it's so small. Well, no, it's existed for a really long time and there's like no change in sight. So no, this is not like a big, systemic racism type of issue that hopefully, and I'm not going to like every piece of wood in my office, you know, people are making real change to fix. Although as I see things open up, I see that that's maybe a load of shit. So we'll see how it goes. But these tiny little hateful laws that exist that have such a big impact, these are not on people's radar. So when we are sharing about it, I'm not sharing about this to gain sympathy. Trust me when I tell you, like, I don't need your fucking sympathy. Doesn't do anything for me for you to be like, hey, babe, thoughts and prayers. I don't need your thoughts and prayers. And are you even really? Please, I don't need your thoughts and prayers. I'm doing this because if there's another family out there who's pregnant or thinking about getting pregnant or already have a baby and don't know about this, and I can spare them 1 minute of any of this nonsense, or there's something that can actually be done about it, that's why this is being shared. This is not being shared to garner sympathy. This is not being shared I don't even know. This is not being shared for any other reason than education and advocacy. As I've said on here before, we are sitting in a place of privilege with this situation. We can afford the court fees. We have our shit together. There's no question of, what's going to happen. I mean, listen, knock wood. I mean, we live in fucking Gilead, but knock wood, right? Like, we're fine. And by the time this airs, the home visit will be over anyway. So I'm filming this for reference on Tuesday, and I was so pissed off that I had to get it out now, and I will air it on Friday. So by Friday, I don't know, maybe in my little comment, I'll let you know how it went, but maybe I won't. We'll see. The other thing that I think people aren't realizing is the legality behind it. So, and why the hypocrisy is so rampant around the specific issue. And I'm sort of rambling today, and I hear myself doing it, and I'm going to just let it fly because I'm really pissed off about it. And I don't know, deal with it. So when you take a look at second parent adoption, and I've explained it on here before, second parent adoption essentially means I have to become my daughter's legal parent because I'm not her biological parent. If we were in a situation in another state that didn't value us as equal parents, I would have no decision-making power around my own child. This used to be the case around my own spouse, which is no longer the case. So to all of you saying we're taking lots of great steps, yes, that is a great step. It does not negate this thing. Negate. Why don't I say that word again? Negate. It does not negate this thing. The problem I have with it is I am a very logical person. I don't like hypocrisy. I don't like talking out of both sides of my mouth. If I am not legally sound enough to make medical decisions for my daughter, I should also not be legally sound enough or legally tied enough to pay child support. Let that sit. I know, listen, my wife and I are never getting a divorce. We're a very happy, wonderful couple. I love my wife more than anything. If we were to ever get a divorce for whatever reason, I would be financially responsible for my daughter, but I can't make medical decisions for her. That's the problem. That's the problem for me. Yes, it's bigoted, it's hateful, it's all of those things. It is hypocritical, and I can't stand that. Now, let's shift gears. Let's go to misuse of resources, because this is something that really bothered me, and a few people commented on it, which I was like, why don't you shut your fucking mouths? Social workers. Social workers are the salt of the earth. They do these huge, huge jobs for very tiny amounts of money, and they get kicked in the face every day because of it. Sometimes literally kicked in the face, and sometimes figuratively, both. Kicked in the face, not a glamorous job. I am not mad at the social worker. I think the social worker is lovely. In fact, she called me, we had a wonderful conversation. She's probably the most sympathetic person I've talked to date, and sympathetic in a real way, and saying like, hey, this is really fucked up that I have to come to your house and watch you parent. Don't worry about it. I'm literally coming there as a formality. I know it's horrible. I get it. Social workers' times need to be used in a much more efficient way. There are kids in houses that are being sexually abused and getting the shit kicked out of them every day, but you're wasting this poor woman's time coming to my house in suburban Long Island with two moms who paid a lot of fucking money to have their kid who they really love to observe me parent. Use resources more wisely, and not to go too far down a rabbit hole, because I wouldn't do it, and I'm not going to do it here, and I'm not going to get into it. But that's where like the defund the police stuff comes in. And I don't like the terminology. I think it's incorrect. I think it should have been reform the police. We need to be careful about what we say and how we use our words. It's all about reforming resources and how we utilize people's time and how we utilize people's skill. That's all it comes down to. So for all of you watching this who are like, I can't believe she brought up police. Guess what? I love many, many cops. One of my very dear friends is a cop. He is a wonderful human being. Use his talents wisely. Use social workers' talents wisely. Use their time efficiently. Use their time to make change, to make positive change. We've talked about a couple of things today. So first and foremost, we talked about this idea of why voting matters. And maybe we didn't even really get into that, but blanket statement. Voting matters. Yes. If you have more liberally minded people in office, these things are going to continue to change. However, they are not changing fast enough, and they are not changing big enough, because they are not abolished. They still exist. However, if you are asking, what can you do? How can I help? Vote. When the opportunity comes up, vote for people who actually give a shit about our family and who give a shit about the queer community. Vote. Thoughts, prayers, response. This is not a sympathetic move. We are not looking for any of that. We appreciate it. We appreciate the kind words. We appreciate the support more than you will ever know. It has been incredible. It's not about that. It's about education. Share this. Keep talking about it. Drive it forward. Find ways to make change with us. That's what we're sharing this for. And then the third part, resources. Use resources wisely. Having somebody come to my home to watch me parent my 1-year-old who she has to meet in person, that's a waste of her time. She knows it. I know it. The government knows it. But if they don't, if that's where they're sending people, they can spend less time doing actual work. And that's really what it comes down to. It's like bureaucratic nonsense. They don't want to have to do, or put too much effort into an abuse case or anything like that, because it's a lot easier to send a social worker who, again, very lovely woman. This is not her fault. And I will be hiding my face on Thursday when I talk to her, because it's not her fault. Thank God for a mask, right? Remember to wear your masks. If you use her time more wisely, actual change can happen. That's my point. Anyway, I am done ranting and raving. I don't even know what came out of my mouth today. I am so bothered by this week. I am so tired from this week. It is an exhausting process that I don't wish on anybody. It's in tandem with a lot of other shit that truly I don't have the headspace for, but I'm making space for it. So it is what it is. Tune in Monday. We have Mary Ferry Bowberry, who I love so much. She's so funny. She's so funny. Oh my God. Follow her. Please follow her. Have a great weekend. And thank you so much for the support. But it's change. It's not support. It's change. So thank you and have a great one.